Welcome to Podnutz Daily, episode number 188. We're joined with Simon Zarafa today from, let me see if I can remember it, Simon, pc-technical.co.uk, right?
Yeah, that's the website address. The company, well, my little business is just called Simon's PC Services, but that's the address of the website, yeah.
Okay, cool. And then you have to tell us what the weather is over there because that's tradition.
Let me open the curtains a second. I'm opening the curtains today. Overcast, but it's not actually raining, which is a bonus.
Okay, thank you for telling us that. That's a requirement.
Yeah.
All right, well, what's happening with you in the computer repair field these days?
Okay. Well, first of all, apologies to everybody if my voice sounds really bad. I've got an absolutely horrible stinker of a cold, and everybody here in my family's got it as well. So I'll press on, and if you hear my voice giving out halfway through, my apologies.
Don't worry, but we just hope you feel better and your family.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, sure. Well, I was working on this earlier on, and I come up with three machines which I've worked on recently, which might be useful or interesting to talk about.
Okay.
Most of them, actually, if not all of them, are laptops.
Okay.
It seems to me that laptops are getting very popular now. So
yes,
desktop machines still do turn up now and again, but it seems that everybody almost has got laptops now. So
yeah, you know what? I'm sorry to interrupt you. I noticed that trend too, like a couple months, because I sold my shop a couple months ago, and I noticed that trend. It got more and more and more, and then we started getting the Vista machines in. So who knows? Maybe desktops will be phased out, or at least they'll become a lot smaller. I think desktops.
Yeah.
will.
We'll see. But yeah.
Okay.
And what's the other trend I'm noticing is that people are bringing multiple machines in for repair. I don't know if anybody else is seeing this, but I think what's happening now is people have got more than one PC in the house. So perhaps when PC number one breaks down, they then go on and use number two. Right. And when that breaks down and they've got no more PCs to use, they then bring them all in for repair at the same time. So I've had quite a few customers saying, "Oh, I've got." They ring you up and say, "I've got a PC that's broken. Can you fix it?" And you say, "Yes, of course, bring it in and we'll have a look." And they say, "Oh, while you're at it, can you have a look at this other one as well?"
Right.
And it gets, So I don't know if anybody else is seeing that, but there might be something else to watch out for.
I've seen it a little bit. I think you're right.
Okay. All right. Well, the first laptop I worked on recently, and I'm actually still working on it. Actually, I'm not being very well. I haven't done anything with it today, but. Customer brought in an HP laptop. It's a fairly old one, although I think in its day the spec was quite good on it because it's got decent sound on it. It's one of the ZV. I think it's something like a ZV 5300 or something like that. But it's a parallel ATA hard drive, so it's not that new.
Right. Basically,
the customer reported that it was crashing. Startup, something that happened fairly recently, and when I had a look at it, it was giving a blue screen stop error, which is 0xED, which is the unmountable boot volume.
Okay.
Which we've all come across.
Yes.
And that was about the most useful piece of information I can give you about this machine so far. But
that's okay. That tells you a lot.
Well, yeah, you think so. Right. First thing I do is run SpinRite.
Okay.
Of course, as everybody does.
Yeah, right.
And it completely fails immediately. Just does not want to run on this machine at all, which I'm thinking, hey, that's a bit odd. SpinRite will occasionally fall over, whilst working, but it doesn't normally completely, refuse to work on the machine at all,
right.
To the point where the machine just locks up.
Right.
It's bizarre. Won't even detect the hard drives fitted or anything.
Oh, it doesn't detect the hard drive.
It doesn't do anything. I've got two versions of SpinRite here. One which runs on the free DOS version, which comes with it, and I've also made up another one, which is on an MS-DOS, on old MS-DOS 6.22 OS, which sometimes works better depending on problems you might come across.
Okay.
The MS-DOS version runs slightly better, but still doesn't work.
Hey, let me stop you for a second. So, when you get unmountable boot volume, is that what you do? You just throw SpinRite in every time?
Yeah. Just to see if there's anything wrong with the drive. You don't want to start fiddling with the drive until you know that there's nothing wrong with it, in terms of bad sectors or whatever. So you use SpinRite to determine whether a drive is good or not? Yeah, basically.
Okay.
You can, if in this case it didn't work, but 99% of the time it does.
Okay.
You can look at the smart info to see if there's any reallocated sectors or how many bad sectors there are, and then you can, get it running and see what it finds.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
So you were saying...
in this case, it didn't run at all.
Okay.
Absolutely locked up the PC. So I'm thinking, something's not right here. So now I'm scratching my head thinking, what else can I use to try on this machine, and then I remembered your one of the recent shows you did with Scott Moulton, and he was talking about a tool called MHDD.
Yes, that's what it's called.
Yeah, MHDD32. So I went and got that, downloaded it, stuck it on a disk, put it in the machine, and lo and behold, it works. It ran. Got it to do a scan. It's a bit of a strange user interface if you've ever used it, but it's, once you figured out what it's all about, you can use it. And as far as I can see, it's really almost doing the same sorts of things like C tools might do.
Right, okay.
It's kind of like just checking the drive to see if all the sectors are readable. One of the groovy things is it tells you how fast each sector is reporting back. It gives you like a nice scrolling color-coded map of the drive. With all how fast is this particular sector coming back with data. Okay. And, about halfway through doing its scan, it starts coming up with bad sectors. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, there is something wrong with this drive. So at that point then I'm thinking, right, let's just forget the laptop. Let's get the drive out of the machine, which is pretty straightforward. And then I'm thinking, right, what do I need to do to look at this drive and see what the problem is? Okay. So I'm scratching my head here. And then I think, okay, let's just plug it into a Windows machine and see what we can see. Is this drive readable? Does it mount? Does it do anything? Plug it into a PC. It's a 44-pin PATA, parallel ATA drive. Mm-hmm. So I got a little adapter here which I use, which converts 44-pin to 40-pin. So you can just plug it straight into a regular IDE cable. Okay. And off you go. Plug it in, turn the machine on. Machine doesn't boot. So I'm thinking there's definitely something a bit wrong with this hard drive, because the system just will not boot with this drive connected.
You mean won't even turn on, or what?
Well, it starts up, but then it won't go past the post to just hang.
Right. Okay.
And this is my bench machine, so I know it works more or less.
Right.
So I'm thinking, right, there's definitely something wrong with this drive. Well, how can I read the data? So I think, okay, let's try USB. So take the adapter. I've got it's a generic, one of these generic USB 2 to IDE adapter cables. So I plug my 44-pin adapter into that, and then plug that into the drive. And there's a Molex connector on the adapters to power it all up. Plug it into the PC. PC hangs. So I'm thinking, more and more curious. So there's definitely something up with this drive.
This is a laptop drive, right?
Yeah, this is just your 2.5-inch laptop drive.
Right. Okay.
So I'm sure at this point you'd think, okay, let's just try Knoppix or Ubuntu or something.
Yeah, I was thinking
that. Obviously, that would be far too easy. So I'm thinking, well, how can we actually get this machine to start up? And I remembered there's a way in the registry in Windows you can tell Windows not to mount a particular drive.
All right.
So I found the details, and it's actually under a registry key, H key local machine system mounted devices, and then off you can create a new key